on Michigan Replay, a look back on a night to remember as we highlight the 2004 Michigan football bust. We'll also meet a senior captain who is full of surprises, and nose guard Gabe Watson will join us for a chat. Plus, a look ahead at what's shaking for the holidays. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Chevrolet. Stop by your Detroit area Chevy dealers or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. You've had 2 weeks off. And you
feel good. Don't I look good?
You look great.
I look rested.
You look rested. You look great. You've had 2 weeks off, and you know what? You can't.
No, I haven't had 2 weeks off.
Well, I'm not saying you've had 2 weeks off, but you've had where you haven't played football games, okay?
Yeah.
And you're still in the news. You cannot stay away from being the media darling, can you?
Well, yeah, you know. Well, Jim, the one thing I hate doing is talking about myself, but I do. I'm healthy. I don't have any illness. I'm not sick. I don't have a heart problem.
We're putting the rumors to rest.
Well,
today.
I don't know if we're doing that, but we hope so, because I certainly intend to continue coaching at Michigan as long as they'll have me and as long as I feel good, and certainly I feel good.
Well, you've got to stay, because I cannot train another new coach.
Yes, you will.
No, I can't do it.
That is part of going. That's going to be part of your legacy. You must train the next coach.
It took me 5 years just to get you to smile.
Oh, baloney. I was great right from the start.
You were. I got to admit that.
Because every show we've ever had, you told me at the end of the show, Lloyd, you were great.
That's right.
So let's have a great show today.
Lloyd, we're going to have a great show today because it started off great. Because we put the rumors to rest. You're going to be back coaching next year, and I'm going to be right here with you.
Well, we want to win another championship.
We can do that. That's okay. We'll talk about that next August.
But first, we got to win the Rose Bowl, Jim.
That's true. We'll get that done, too. By the way, there's going to be a Rose Bowl special show coming up right around the first of the year, so keep your eye on the TV listings. But let's talk about football. This week, you had a great week because of the Michigan football bust. An opportunity for the Michigan Club of Greater Detroit to honor the seniors.
Well, and we also had, of course, your teammates from the 1969 team. And, of course, Mr. Cannon was back, and Gary Moeller was there, and Don and Bo received the Distinguished Alumni Award. So, and we had a great time honoring 17 seniors that are playing their last game at Michigan.
Sure was. It was a great night, and if you couldn't be there, Michigan Replay was there. We want to go back and take a look at last Monday for the highlights of the 2004 Michigan football bust.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the seniors of the 2004 Big Ten champions, the Rose Bowl-bound Michigan Wolverines.
The entire evening was about honoring this Big Ten champion Wolverine squad, especially the seniors on the team who all received their M rings from the University of Michigan Club of Greater Detroit. The master of ceremonies for the evening was former Michigan All-American and captain Jim Mandich, who will be inducted into the National Collegiate Football Hall of Fame this week. And it was Mandich who put the team's accomplishments into perspective for the capacity crowd at the Laurel Manor in Livonia.
And there are some fat donut eaters with pencil holders up in the press box that say this is bittersweet that we backed our way into the Rose Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing could be further from the truth. Because one of the beautiful things about football, the thing that makes it a great game and the best game, is there's no fakery and there's no fraudulence. Fellas, you earned your way to a Big Ten championship, and you earned your Rose Bowl trip.
The evening also featured former coach Bo Schembechler receiving the U of M Club's Distinguished Alumni Award. A number of players from Bo's first team of 1969 were on hand to support Bo, as that team was also honored during the evening's program. But the real story of the night were the award winners voted on by the team. Adam Finley and Matt Studensky were co-winners of the Dr. Arthur Robinson Scholarship Award. The Bob Ufer Spirit Award, one of the year's top honors, went to fullback Kevin Dudley.
This means a lot to me, and Coach Carr always says to give yourself up for something greater than yourself, and I would do the same thing for 20 more years if I had to. I thank you. I'm very honored.
The Hugh Rader Jr. Memorial Award, given to the year's best offensive lineman, was for the second year in a row earned by David Boss.
It's an honor to be part of the tradition of Michigan and the tradition of the offensive line. And I couldn't have done it without all my teammates and my other offensive line that played just as hard as I did. And they deserve this just as much as I do. I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
The best defensive lineman, named after Dick Catcher, was awarded to Lamar Woodley, who said he's not done yet.
Thank you. I didn't expect this award. I got to give credit to Roy Manning, who helped me out all this year, give me little pep talks all through the season. I'd like to thank you, and you're going to see a lot more. You ain't seen nothing yet.
The Roger Zatkoff Linebacker Award, given to the best Wolverine linebacker for the season, was a very popular choice in Roy Manning.
Thank you so much for this award. It's a dream come true, really it is. I told Lamar he was my favorite to win this one this year. He had an outstanding year, and I just thank Roger Zatkoff and all the players and coaches, and just hats off to this defense. You know, I wouldn't be here without you guys and couldn't do anything without you guys. Thanks again.
And the big honor for the evening, the Bo Schembechler Most Valuable Player Award, was given to wide receiver Braylon Edwards, who without question distinguished himself this season as a big play guy and one of Michigan's all-time greatest.
You know, we have a saying at Michigan, and it's those who stay will be champions. And I think this year, with the way that Boss led and Marlon and myself receiving this award tonight from my peers, I don't think there's ever been a time where that saying has been more true. Thank you. Go Blue.
Well, it was quite a night. You had a lot of opportunities to speak also, but we had you here on your own show, so we figured we'd let you speak now on characterizing what you said during the evening.
Well, I really had an opportunity to thank a great coaching staff and a great group of seniors, particularly for their leadership, and a team that played hard, overcame a lot of obstacles, going back to the beginning of this season with Matt Gutierrez. And to thank the great alumni club, the University of Michigan Club of Greater Detroit, for 84 years honoring Michigan football. What a tradition that is.
And the fact that all Michigan player that goes through the program gets their M ring is one of the most cherished possessions all of us have. And that's one of the great things about that evening. And the other thing I really like, and you took great pains to do it, is not to just thank the assistant coaches who sometimes during the year get a short shrift or they're not in the media, is their families too, because they give up a lot of their time for their husbands to coach.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the things you recognize going in. And Jim, I think as this week in the coaching profession illustrates, it is a difficult job. It's a job that demands an unbelievable commitment, and your family suffers with you in the down times, and of course, you know, we all know we belong to the greatest profession there is, but it's not without its down times as well.
Well, we'll reiterate that those of us at Michigan want to thank all the wives of the coaches and their families for giving up some of their time and let their husbands do such a great job coaching the Wolverines. Special thanks to the U of M Club of Greater Detroit also. When we come back, we'll meet Captain David Boss up close and personal. But before we do that, we go back to the bus and hear from Jeremy Reed, who had a message for some prospective employers.
My name is Jeremy Reed. I'm a statistics major. I'm graduating in 2 weeks. My resume is available upon request. My parents are sitting at table 72. They might possibly have a copy on them. Feel free to go check it out.
When you think about Michigan captain and center David Boss, some things are obvious. He's a big, solid offensive lineman who's been a mainstay in the O-line for years. What you may not know is that he turned down the warm climate of his native Florida to come to Michigan. And besides some family in Michigan, there were a lot of other reasons.
When you think of Michigan, you know, you think of offensive line. And, you know, I think that such a great tradition, you know, that they've had, and just being part of that is just something special. And you just, he just desired to be a part of that, and it just struck me as something that I needed to do.
You also may not know that as a highly regarded offensive guard, he never even blinked when he was asked to change to center after just a couple of games in his senior year.
It wasn't a difficult decision. You know, being a leader of the team, you know, you have to do whatever it takes to help your team win. And if that's what we needed for me to move to center, that's what I was going to do. And, you know, I just, you know, got to do my best at that position, just keep getting better, you know. It doesn't matter what I've done at guard, you know, I have to do it now at center.
David may be full of surprises, but what is no surprise is his attitude about being a captain and leader.
There's a lot of responsibility. You know, you're held to a higher standard. But then again, you just, you know, you have to be yourself. You have to go out there and just play like you're capable of playing, and just, you know, do the things that you do it week in, week out, and just be a leader. You don't have to be any different person because you're a captain.
Maybe the biggest surprise about David is a very pleasant singing voice. Are you tired of the questions of your singing ability?
Absolutely.
Tell me why. You're a good singer. You got a great voice.
I know, but that's not going to get me anywhere.
David says his singing is just a hobby, but it has gained him some acclaim. At last year's Rose Bowl, he and Tyler Ecker sang a little Jingle Bells on Jay Leno's Tonight Show. David's just not sure he wants his singing as his legacy.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Jingle bells. Be remembered for my play, not Jingle Bells.
We had to do that.
How about both?
Yeah, he can do both. He's got a good voice.
Yes, he does.
But the thing I think that makes David Boss special, and we've talked about this before, the fact that here's an All-American guard who you asked 2 games into the year, said, you play center? And he said without hesitation, sure.
Never hesitated. And I think that's what really speaks about David Boss. But the other side of David Boss, Jim, came here as a freshman from Sarasota, Florida, away from home. It was not an easy adjustment. And he persevered and now came back, gave up the NFL draft to come back for a 5th year at Michigan, became a captain, the greatest honor a Michigan player can receive, has made almost every All-American team, a candidate for the Outland Trophy, and he's going to get his degree. So I'd say you can't do much better than David Boss did.
Mission accomplished for David Boss. When we come back, we'll meet another big guy, Gabe Watson. But before we do that, we go back to the 2004 bust and meet Jermaine Gonzalez, who says the bust is also a time for a little fun.
It's kind of funny being up here, listening to Coach Carr call me by Jermaine for the last 3 years. My name was Jerome, so thanks again.
Don't feel bad, Jermaine. I call my wife Lori Laura all the time, too. She doesn't like it either, but...
Gabe Watson is a guy you can't help but like. He's got an engaging personality and smiles easily. As a matter of fact, when Gabe was being recruited, he sat in on a taping of Michigan Replay. First of all, what are you doing here in Ann Arbor?
Well, I'm here, you know, on the first week of football, official visit. And, hey, time on.
Oh, we can't. There are no cuts. Well, this is called live on tape. He thought a career in broadcasting might not be a bad idea, and he still does.
Yes, I still have a thought all the time. I always think about taking your job. But I always think about it. And it's like something I would like really, you know, think about doing.
Well, we think Gabe Watson's got a lot more football to play. This year, he's been dominant inside for the Wolverine defense. As pleasant as he is off the field, he's a terror to offensive guards and centers around the Big Ten. It wasn't always that way, though. Gabe didn't play as much as he thought he should early on. Watson learned some valuable lessons during that time, but it wasn't easy.
It was hard for me, like seriously hard. I was like, man, what is going on? These coaches are crazy, you know? But as I start to learn things and from the older guys, you know, it built a lot of character, really, you know, just sitting out and just learning, you know. And I mean, that's the big thing to me. Just it built so much character and helped me mature in that way. It's more than just football, I believe so. And I mean, it helps you in life, period. You know, because everything is not going to go your way or how you plan. And you know, and Coach Carr talked about setting goals, and sometimes you have to, you know, sit down and think to yourself and, you know, set things again. You know, and it helps me in football and in, you know, my regular life.
At 6'4" and about 325 pounds, he is a lot of young man. But through football, he's learned a lot too. It's not just about him anymore. It has become bigger than that. His goals going forward are even bigger than he is.
Just want to leave a legacy, you know, and be remembered and, you know, help this team. Not just for me, just help the team, you know, win, you know, championships. And, you know, that's what Michigan is about, winning championships, going to Rose Bowls and, you know, just being the best. And more than me, I would love to do that, you know, and, you know, everything else would fall in place.
Gabe Watson, here's the question. Do you think he could do my job okay? I think he'd have trouble with you.
Well, I think if you mentored him for a short time, he could be as good as there is.
I think he could be because he's a really bright kid and he's got a great personality.
Yeah, you know, when he smiles, he lights the room up.
And he's a kid that plays inside. And, again, in his early years, he didn't play as much, but he's really started to mature and grow into a pretty darn good player.
Well, Jim, all he lacks is consistency. The truth is that Gabe can be as good as he decides to be, and that's really what he's going to decide to do because he's got all the talent. He's got as much talent as anybody we've had here at Michigan.
All right, that's saying something about Gabe Watson. When we come back, Lloyd and I will talk a little bit about what looks like the bowl picture, even though officially we don't know anything yet. But before we do that, go back to the 2004 bust and listen to Troy Nienberg say he's not just a kicker only.
Kickoff, a line drive. Jordan drops it at the 7, gets a good hop, gets it back to the 10, upfield to the 20. Oh, look at Nienberg, took his shoulder into him and upend him at the 32. How about that?
You know, I was really hoping that they would show that clip. That's the first time I've seen it. A lot of people asked, why didn't you watch it during the stadium? Well, afterwards I was taking an informal poll if it was normal to not be able to feel the right side of your body. I never got much of a response. It was always just, well, can you feel your leg?
And say, you know, we're sorry. But hey, I'm not sorry. You know, I would be receiving the greatest thing a person can receive from the University of Michigan, and that's a degree. And I just want to... And I just want to say that, I mean, words can't explain how much I love this place, and I'm always love this place. Thanks a lot. Go Blue.
One of the real highlights of the Michigan bust was Zia Combs. Here's a kid that, you know, got hurt, was a player. The injury was such that he couldn't continue his career, and yet he stayed on. And we did a feature on him, but having him have that kind of respect for his degree and what came to Michigan makes your job that much more rewarding, doesn't it?
Well, Jim, when you can see a guy, I'll never forget that moment on the field.
Scary.
It's one of the scariest moments of my coaching career. But to see a guy that really had to deal with a career-ending injury that early in his career, he had dreams. He would have played in the NFL. He would have been a great player here. But he hung in there. He got great support from his teammates and the people at the University of Michigan, and now he's going to get his degree.
Speaking about the NFL, how about your former quarterback, John Navarre, getting a start on Sunday against the Detroit Lions in Detroit?
How about John Navarre? Are you surprised, Jim?
I am not surprised. There are a lot of people that are.
Well,
but you and I we were both in his corner.
And his teammates and the people that played with John Navarre at Michigan, they're all excited about his opportunity, but none of us are surprised.
And as you said, if anybody knows quarterbacks, Denny Green probably knows him pretty well, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
So that means John Navarre's in pretty good company.
It does.
All right, let's talk about the bowl games. We still don't officially know because the BCS thing doesn't happen until Sunday afternoon.
Well, there's still 2 games to be played by teams that potentially we could be playing. Southern Cal is a potential. California is probably the one that we would expect. But Texas, you know, there's a lot of things that can go on in these polls, in the votes, Jim. And you know, it's a very political process, at least potentially.
In a way, though, you don't care. Because ultimately, you've got to, and it might be better that you don't know, because you got to prepare and get better from that last game and remember what happened last year at the Rose Bowl.
Well, we know two things. Number one, we have got to play better. And number two, regardless of who we play, it's going to be an outstanding opponent. And so to have an opportunity to represent the Big Ten and the University of Michigan on New Year's Day, it doesn't get any better than Pasadena, California. So we're excited about the opportunity. We know what we've got to do. I think we have a team that is motivated and understands that we have a chance to finish this season and make it a great season.
Well, Lloyd, thank you for a great year. You were outstanding this season.
You always tell me that.
Best year of Michigan replay ever.
Thanks.
All right, and everybody, don't forget your M Go Blue for Mott bracelets. They're available at Dunham's and Myers. You can buy them at the Atlanta Bread Company, Great Divide in Flint, Moe's Sports Stores, M Let's Go Blue in Royal Oak, the Bivouacker Let's Go Blue in Granville. $2 they cost. $1 goes to Mott Children's Hospital.
Join this team. Everybody in this state. Everybody in the Midwest.
You done?
Yes.
Special thanks to Bob Lipson, Brian Hartley, the whole gang at Michigan Replay for another great season. We will see you around the first of the year. Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
21-7.